Last night on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns said something that actually got me thinking. Does the World Championship have a will of its own? It's really interesting to think about it in this context because Jey is becoming more and more like Roman Reigns ever since he won that World Heavyweight Championship. Let's talk about that as well as the rest of Monday Night Raw in this video. Starting off this Monday Night Raw, we have Roman Reigns coming out talking about his usual tribal chief stuff, about how everyone needs to acknowledge him, how he's the best, blah blah blah. And then we get Bronson Reed, the tribal thief, and Paul E. Heyman, and they talk about how they they got Roman stretchered out of the building in Paris. That was a really stupid joke. But yeah, they talk about how they stretchered Roman out of the building in Paris and how nobody else has ever done that, how nobody did that to his uncle, how nobody did that to his father, no one. Yet he got stretchered out and he's afraid of Bronson Reed. Roman Reigns is just standing there like, you sure, buddy? And Paul E. Dangerously is so sure of it that he wants an Aussie street fight in Perth. And he gets it. It's official. Crown Jewel, we get an Aussie street fight between Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. And I'm actually really excited for this match. Their match in Paris was great. Maybe not in ring stuff, but I don't necessarily care too much about technical wrestling. I enjoy storytelling much more than the technicality of wrestling and how great all the movement and everything is. Again, I just much more enjoyed the stories, the feeling, the vibe. I'm not Dave Meltzer, I'm just a random guy from bumfuck nowhere, Europe. So I really enjoyed that match, and I'm hoping this one in Perth is as good, if not better, because we have street fight rules. I'm really excited. Asuka then demands a match between Io Sky and Kairi Sane, not herself. But you know how it is with Asuka, once she wants something, she gets it, meaning that Nick Baldis needs a drink. Next we get Becky versus Maxxine Dupri, and I really like this match. Maxxine is just different. You can see her character is different, and although, again, I know this match wasn't necessarily the most fluid match you've ever seen. Again, I'm not Dave Meltzer. I'm just a random guy who enjoys storytelling, and this match told me a story about how Becky Lynch is way too overconfident. It reinforced her character, and it also helped Maxxine put over her new character as this kind of badass without necessarily hampering the character of Becky Lynch. Becky is still really good. She could still say that she's the greatest female wrestler. She just got counted out because of some stupid ref. But Maxxine Dupri won. She showed resilience, she showed her moveset, she showed a different character. And I really enjoyed this match because of that. It really did everything it was supposed to do, and I love it. I love it so much. I hope Maxxine continues improving, continues doing better. She hasn't been in front of a crowd, at least not wrestling, for too long. She would get a match here and there, but that was never her character, and I really hope that she gets more comfortable in front of the crowd, and I hope she gets better and better and better, because she's got the looks, she has a good moveset no matter what anyone says, she has a character that's really interesting and that could be built upon. So yeah, I'm really excited for her new character and new build, new storylines, new everything. Roman is then backstage trying to turn Jey into a mini Roman, which everyone can see Jimmy is not the biggest fan of, and Roman can see it as well. He tells him, why do you not like what I'm doing with Jey? Why do you hate me helping Jey? And look, it's a really interesting question, but one I will talk about a little bit more later in the video. But before we get to the rest of the stuff, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're watching this far in. I'm really new around here and I'm trying to do my best to upload wrestling content every single day right here. So if you want to help me achieve my dreams and for some daily entertainment you might enjoy, please make sure to, again, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Lyra would then lose to Roxanne Perez in a really good match. These two have amazing chemistry. Everyone knows that. This isn't anything surprising. They're really amazing in the ring together. And again, a great match. But again, Lyra would lose. However, Lyra and Bayley would then beat up on Judgment Day backstage, which was really interesting. It also cements this notion that Bayley now has two characters, both of whom really like Lyra. So I'm really interested in this story. And whoever says that there's no stories going on right now, I think you're just oversaturated with the product, which is completely fine, completely normal. I find myself in that every so often, but just try to enjoy wrestling, try not to be critical of it. Try not to go into every single Raw or SmackDown with just saying, oh, okay, another tag team main event, which is really true. There is stuff to criticize, but there is so much more to love. Like this storyline, like the Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso storyline. There's a lot to love about this, and with this channel, I try to spread more like positivity, I guess, more like just enjoy wrestling, man. There's so much to enjoy, and we should really try to enjoy that. There's some stuff you're not gonna like, that's completely fine. But for every single one of us, there's something that you could like. So yeah, there's always great storylines going on, and although they might not be main event, that doesn't mean they're bad. That's just what I'm thinking. Cookie Monster Punk then comes out, and he does an impromptu concert with the Dallas crowd. It's like a Justin Timberlake thing, I think. Like the concert, you know how Justin Timberlake just... another stupid joke. But yeah, leave that in. Anyways, he would come out, he would talk about his grand plan to win back the World Heavyweight Championship, but LA Knight don't agree with that. He don't. Yeah. LA Knight comes out, he's like, look man, I'm sure you're a great husband and everything, that's fine, I love that, I really love that. But you're a weak champion, you're not a great champion. You held that belt for what, like 5 minutes? And you got pinned by Seth? And then you got pinned by Seth again in Paris? Me? I'm the last guy that pinned Seth. I'm the only guy who's not lost to him in his last match. So I need the shot. And then Jey Uso comes out. Nobody acknowledges him. Nobody acknowledges Mini Roman just yet. And he needs Jimmy's help. Then we get a main event announcement. Tag team match between Usos and LA Knight and CM Punk. Io then fights Kairi in her match, which was another really great match. I really loved it. Io and Kairi have this kind of chemistry that you can't find in many places. It's really interesting. And again, I didn't expect any less of these two. Another great match. Actually, the main event was my least favorite match when it comes to in-ring stuff, but let's leave that for later. It's really good, and I love it so much. Io Sky would lose due to some Asuka shenanigans, and yeah, that's the continuation of the story. We'll see probably yet another continuation, not the conclusion yet, at Crown Jewel, where I think Asuka and Kairi need to win, but it is in Australia and Rhea's gonna be part of the match, so if they lose, I would get that as well. I'm not sure yet. Backstage, Becky Lynch is still yelling around with Seth Rollins standing there doing his best impression of a Balkan husband, trying not to listen to his wife, just enjoy his little watch, his little present or whatever it is. I really love that scene. I love this dynamic that the two of them have. This is like 2 weeks in a row now where Becky's just around him, she's pissed about something, and Seth is deep in thought. I find it really interesting. It's a really fun dynamic. Again, I really enjoy it. After she leaves, Seth and Paul E. Heyman would then talk about what happens if Seth loses the Crown Jewel match. And after Seth forces Paul Heyman to talk, they agree on something. If Seth loses this, he might lose everything. He will become the definitive second champion in the company. He will have lost against Cody Rhodes, and Paul Heyman might start thinking, why did he choose him? So yeah, really fun stuff. I really think Seth needs to win this. That would be a great moment, and it would continue this storyline more and more between him and Cody, whereas if Cody wins, it's just another big slap in the face of Seth Rollins, who's supposed to be this future of the company, the visionary, the revolutionary, the architect, the everything, and he is still losing. That doesn't make much sense in my head. I think he needs to win this match. Then we get to the most interesting part of the night, at least according to me, which is Roman talking to Jimmy about how ever since Jey won that World Heavyweight Championship, he's becoming more like the tribal chief. And I really like this concept, because this is a concept you can see in many wrestlers. It's like, if any of you have watched Vinland Saga or read it, and you remember that scene where Canut's father is telling about how the crown has a will of its own. That's a real interesting scene in my head. It's a scene that I've thought about a lot. And for all of you who didn't watch Vinland Saga, if you have any interest in anime, please go watch it. It's one of the best out there. And even if you don't, but you enjoy Viking storytelling, psychological storytelling, great show. But yeah, not to alienate my wrestling audience too much right here. That scene really sticks in my head, and it really came to my attention here because you can see in many wrestlers that once they win that first championship, it's not enough. They always have to be there. They always have to go for another one and another one and another one. And it's really interesting dynamic. It's really fun because you can see it right now with Randy Orton, a guy who's won many championships, and now he's not the champion. He's number 2 to the guy who's the champion. That don't really feel right. And he's always looking at the championship. The championship is calling to him. And soon he will come to the point where he will go for that championship. The same thing with Jey Uso, where he won the championship, he lost it, and now he's thinking like, I need to do anything I can for that belt. It's a really interesting concept that I might make a video about. That might be really interesting. But yeah, if you want that video, I can like do a deep dive on it for about 10-15 minutes or whatever, just talking about that. But yeah, please, if you want that, please let me know down below. Then we get Penta and AJ Lee versus the Judgment Day, and this was a really fun match. Penta seems to be going into a feud with Dominic Mysterio and Rusev, which I'm really excited about, for him to break free of the New Day, which was just a feud that didn't make much sense. It was just there to put him on TV, which Look, I understand, we want those guys on TV, and although their feud wasn't amazing or anything, at least they were on TV. They did something. I'm really fine with that, but this seems like another step up, and I wouldn't be too surprised, let's say like that, if Penta actually wins the IC Championship. Of course, Penta and AJ Lee would win the match, and then AJ Styles would climb up the table and he would talk about his match with John Cena, and he would talk about how this match doesn't need any build. And I really agree with that. Look, I understand if some of you are like, this match has no story at all. We only have 5 dates of John Cena left. If this is what it takes for us to have an AJ Styles versus John Cena match, I'm more than happy to have it. I really am. Because again, this match doesn't necessarily need a lot of build-up. We have the history there, we have everything there. It's just 2 faces, 2 guys that respect each other, but those guys want to beat each other up. They want to prove who's the best. We don't need a story there. We don't need some amazing build-up. This is much better than, I guess, most of the John Cena retirement stuff, just because of how much hype I am feeling. Again, this is all according to me. It doesn't need much build-up. The story writes itself. And I really agree with that. Then we get our main event, which was a fun match, nothing too special. Honestly, it was probably my least favorite match of the night. It's just another tag team match. That's one criticism that I have for Monday Night Raw these days, which is just tag team matches in main events. I really am getting fed up with it. But again, the rest of Monday Night Raw was really good. I'm not going to complain about that too much. And we get the ending of the match, which is CM Punk hitting a go to sleep, but LA Knight tags himself in to steal the win from CM Punk. Really interesting stuff. It's a cliffhanger. People are talking about how they want more cliffhangers going into the future. This is a cliffhanger. What's going to happen between CM Punk and LA Knight now? Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. I'm really excited about this. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure again to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out this video where I talk about the wrestling iceberg. This is a short version of the iceberg. I just did 25 most important stuff in my head when it comes to icebergs, because most of the iceberg videos I watch are like, what, an hour long. I don't necessarily have much time to watch 10-hour-long iceberg videos, so if you don't have either, watch this, what, 15-minute one? And yeah, thank you.